All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another. I guess this really isn't another. This is something. This is kind of an unboxing. For those of you that don't know, years ago now, which is crazy to say, I backed a project on Kickstarter called Avatar Legends, which was basically an RPG, a tabletop RPG version of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And the pitch for the thing itself is rather impressive. They were going to create rules and everything so you could play as everybody except the Avatar, because the Avatar is inherently broken. Um, if you're comparing them to literally anyone else. And like a year later, I got the PDF of the book itself, and I did a review on it. And I haven't used cards before, but I'm going to try and put a card, I think, here. Uh, if you haven't seen my Avatar Legends review, check it out. I think it's a really cool in-depth review, and I like the system. So, spoiler alert. Um, well, when I backed it, I also got I backed it to the level that I got all the physical rewards they unlocked, and a couple days ago, I finally got my physical rewards. Now, this is not a quote unquote unboxing because I've already unboxed everything. But I wanted to show you all the cool physical stuff that I got. I do not believe Avatar Legends is available for non-backers to buy yet. But now that the physical rewards are coming out, I believe it should be available for purchase soon. Um, Again, I'm not 100% certain when that is, or when it is that it's going to be available. Or again, it may be available right now. I don't know. But this is what the physical stuff looks like. So let's talk about the cool stuff. So first things first. I showed this in my What I Learned from Daily. Guys, alliteration is hard without a stutter. I'm just going to put that out there. I showed this on my What I Learned from Daily December video, but this is the actual core book. Now, this is the regular core book. As in, if you, when this is in stores, if you go to your friendly local game store, this is the one you will most likely find there. They did have a deluxe version, which was a higher backing level. That you could have gotten that had, I think it was just Aang on the front and just Korra on the back. But I was still very broke back then, and it took took a lot of money. It didn't. Like with shipping, I think my pledge total was like $90. Um, so for a Kickstarter pledge, it's not horrible. But again, I was still broke then, so $90 was a lot for me. But anyway, the book itself is not $90. I have no idea what they're selling it for, but I know it's not 90. Um, and yeah, I mean the book is gorgeous. Like you could see the back here, like the artwork is just incredible. Um, the quality of the book itself. I mean, look at just how nice. Just to pick a random page in here, just look at how nice the text looks and the pictures. I want to see if I can find some of the really awesome artwork. There's tons and tons of amazing artwork. Like here's a picture of the playbooks that are in here, like all the different playbooks. But yeah, overall, like I am super happy with this. It again, I have the PDF, which is essentially the same thing as this, just in digital form. And the PDF is gorgeous, and I commented on that in my in-depth review. But there's just, I mean, there's just something about having it physically here that just makes it different. And everything is just so nice, and like the printing here, like you can feel it, like it's really high quality stuff. So I'm very happy about this. In addition to that, I'm gonna go with the core book stuff first, just because that's the easiest thing. I haven't even opened this one yet, but this is Wang Shi Tong's Adventure Guide, and I'm gonna open it right now. Hopefully without damaging anything inside. Come on. There are benefits to not trimming your nails nearly as regularly as you should. Alright, so, Wang Shi Tongs. So, quite a few of this is stretch goals involved adding new playbooks and adding new adventures and stuff like that. And instead of getting each individual playbook and adventure as its own book, I got Wang Shi Tong's Adventure Guide, which has all the playbooks, all the new playbooks, and all of the new info in here. So I'll show you guys a table of contents because I don't believe that's too much of a stretch. That's table of contents. And so the first chapter is about the library. The second chapter is what are called NPC legends, which is basically character sheets for people like Kuvira or Long Feng or Azula. So if you were running your own game and you wanted your players to interact with one of these legends, you could. I believe there are some legends in the core book as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then you had 4 new playbooks. And then chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are just 4 adventures that you can run. Oh, I didn't even realize this was a thing. Hold up, guys. Hold, please. I have a thing. There we go. There's a bookmark. I didn't even realize this. I wonder if the other one has a bookmark. I have to look now. I may have. Aha! I missed it. Come on. You know, for a bookmark, you're not marking very well. There we go. So yeah, this, oh wow, this has multiple bookmarks. This is a really big deal, guys, for someone that, as a GM, is very used to having to flip between multiple pages. This book has 2 bookmarks built into it. So literally you can go, okay, well, I'm definitely going to need this here, and I'm definitely going to need this here when you're running. Like, that is such a baller move. So yeah, really, really like that. I didn't realize that was a thing. Also, it's green, and green is the best. But to give you guys an example of what these adventures look like. Okay, so this is Air and Wind. So this is the adventure. As you can see, it's set in the Aang era. It's got beautiful art. And then again, you have the using this adventure. You have all this really nice advice about how to run an adventure. Again, last December, I actually ran the starter set adventure for Avatar Legends, and I had an absolute blast. But one of the things I liked the most about it is it was a very, very good kind of intro to GMing style adventure, where, very similar to how the Adventures League does it as well, there's a lot of tools for the game master right at the beginning, where they give you like a summary of the adventure and all these other things to really help you understand how the adventure is supposed to be run. If you are not familiar with the system, like I wasn't, or if you're brand new to GMing, so stuff like that is really good. So these are the 2 hardcover books that I got as part of it. They're great. I absolutely adore them. Like I said in my in-depth review, you couldn't buy it then. And my understanding is, as of this very moment, I don't believe you can buy them now, but you should be able to buy them soon. And they are amazing. They're really, really great. So love it, love it. As soon as I find a link to where Magpie Games is the people that make it. As soon as I find a link as to where to buy this stuff, I will update my in-depth review with actual links to buy it. Because right now I think the only link I have there is, hello, Super Nintendo Mini, move. The only links I have are the links to, I have way too much crap down there. The only links I have are the links to get the starter kit. So anyway, moving on. Another thing that they added is called the Combat Action Deck. For those of you who don't know, Avatar Legends uses the Powered by the Apocalypse system. And the system itself is great. I really, really like it. It is very much a more kind of role-playing focused system, where a lot of the aspects of the powers and everything are in there are very much open to interpretation, and adventures and things are run, scene by scene, where you set the scene, the action happens in the scene, and then you transition to the next scene. Stuff like that. It's very, 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 very focused on on role playing, as opposed to being like really, really mechanically complex or anything. It's one of the less complex mechanically games out there, and I like that. But this is the combat action deck. And what it is they're basically cards like this. These are status cards. So on one side of the card, you're going to have a good status. That's the prepared status. And on the other side of the card, you're going to have a bad status. That's the stunned status. There's... What is it? I think there's 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So there's 7 of those. And then I've got another one, which is Inspired versus Trapped. As you can see, like, they come with really great artwork. The cards themselves are really, really nice. And then you have Empowered versus Impaired. And I love that Iroh is the empowered one. And then, the Impaired. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. He's Korra's boyfriend in season 1. And it's not Bolin, it's the other one. And then you have Favored versus Doomed. So those are the different status effects in Avatar Legends. And then you have these really cool things, which are, I don't know why they have different backs, but... So evade and observe, advance and attack, defend and maneuver, evade and observe, advance and attack, defend and maneuver. So the way combat works is you choose an approach and then you choose a specific action that you're going to do. And so the way that happens is every round of combat, the players kind of lock in which approach they're going to use, and the GM does. And then depending on which approach, I believe it's evade and observe approaches go first. Attack and advance and attack goes second, and I think defend and maneuver go third. And so that's kind of how initiative works in general. So they have these little cards that have different people on them. So like this one. Oh, I wonder if this is just for each one of the different Who's-What's-It's. For each of the playbooks, they each have a card. So as you can see, the back of the card is this. And the front of the cards are the different things. And so something I like about this, I don't know if this is how they intended it to be, but I think it would be really, really useful if you're playing at a table. And I'm thinking of trying to figure out a way to do this, or I know how to do it in Roll20. You create a deck in Roll20. But when combat starts, basically you would take whichever one of these cards would go, and to show that you're ready to reveal, you would put your card down. And then when it was time to decide who goes first, everyone would flip their card and go, well, I decided to defend and maneuver this time. So I think that, I don't know if that's how it was designed to work, but it works so well that way that I think it should be. So you can see I have one for Jet there. I've got one for Azula. I've got one for Crazy Evil Bad Guy. I can't remember his name because they changed it a couple of times. And then you've got... Oh, these must be... Because there's 4 of these, right? All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's only 3? Oh. I was about to say, these must be the expansion ones. and these ones must be the base ones, I would guess. So yeah, each one of the playbooks has a card associated with it, or 3 cards that they can use, which I think is cool. And so that's the deck. And again, this is really, really awesome. Is this necessary to play the game? Absolutely not. Really, all you need is the core book in your Golden. But I think this definitely adds something to the game itself. Next up, we have to talk about this. This is the dice bag that came with it. Now, they do have like a deluxe version of the dice bag, which is apparently made of leather. That didn't really thrill me. I'm not a huge fan of leather dice bags because they always just seem too stiff to me. And I've never gotten them to work, so I prefer cloth ones. To be perfectly honest, the dice bag that I use most often, this is my dice bag. And the one that I use most often, this is what I bought sunglasses forever ago, before my eyes got as bad as they are. I bought sunglasses, and this is the bag that my sunglasses came in. And this is the dice bag that I've used forever. And it's definitely starting to wear out. Like, it has dust on there, too, because I keep it on my desk, and I don't dust my desk anywhere near as much. But I need to get a new one, and I might just use this from now on. But in addition to the dice bag, it came with, you guessed it, some dice. So I'm not going to show you all the dice because there's lots of them. But effectively, there are 6 different. I can't remember what they're called. Types or something like that. I can't remember. Basically, 6 different like fighting styles, I guess is what they are, that you can use. One for each of the 4 bending elements. And then you also have martial arts or weapons, I think it is. And then technology to kind of flavor your character. So the way that you create a character in this is you choose your playbook, which is going to it's effectively your class, and then you choose your fighting style, which is going to flavor everything you do. And it does give you access to a few kind of fighting style unique abilities and things like that. But so as you can see, like this, and everything's done with D6s. So this is the, see if I get close enough to see. That is the technology. I'll try and move it so my face isn't there. That's the technology die, and this is the water. And again, they're just D6s. You don't need them to play, and the only thing that makes them different from any other, the only thing that makes them different from any other dice is the 6 is replaced with a symbol, and they're color different. So as you can see, I think that's weapons right there. The one I just showed you was earth, and then this is wind, and this is fire. I'm actually kind of impressed. I just pulled out a random assortment of them, and I got one of each. So that's kind of cool. So I like that. But the other thing that I got that I'm really, really excited about, where'd you go? Come back here. Is you get this. This is a Paisho tile, specifically the White Lotus. Now, the one thing that was weird to me about this is if you look on the Kickstarter page, the Paisho tile is kind of a sandy brown color. And this one, like the actual White Lotus is the same color, but the outside is a sandy brown. And for whatever reason, mine is blue. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it's cool. I don't remember Paisho well enough from the TV show because they never really explain how Paisho works. If they do use different colored tiles or not, but this is really cool, and it's going in. I keep it in my dice bag because I just think that's cool. And if you needed to use something and you didn't have a mini on you, you could definitely use that. Even though Powered by the Apocalypse itself is really not built for miniature combat. You can, but it doesn't make a ton of sense because you don't have a speed and feet or anything like that. You have people that are in close range and long range and things like that. Which, again, I actually kind of like because it does make running Theater of the Mind stuff a little bit easier. And I might start, in my D&D games, I might start, if I'm going to do the Theater of the Mind, I might start trying to implement a kind of short, medium, long range thing. The only time that comes into an issue is there's certain classes that like the barbarian and the monk, that just get incrementally better speed, and so by just using short, medium, long, you kind of handicap that aspect of the or you kind of diminish. Sorry, you kind of diminish that aspect of the class. So I don't know, but it's still cool looking. I'm gonna put this down here, and then we got these. So these are journals. So I got I think I got how many is here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I got 5 journals. One for each of the tribes. And then one that's just, pretty. And the journals are exactly that. Like I'll show you. They're just paper. But again, if you were playing the game, you could give these to your players, and they could keep track of the adventure itself, and this is what they could keep their notes in. They could write down their powers in this. There's a lot of different things that you can do with a journal like this. And journaling is a really, really nice habit to get into when you're playing an RPG. Something I don't think a lot of like how to play videos really to talk about, but note taking in general is a really, really, really useful thing. Not just for you as a player, but your DM will love you if you take, especially if you take good notes. I am constantly relying on my players because my memory is so bad from the benzos that a lot of times I have to go, I'm really sorry. And I already had issues with like names and stuff like that before the benzos. So I'll be like, yeah, totally. You've met this guy before. Oh, really? Who is he? He's the dude that you met in this one place. Oh, yeah, I remember him. I don't remember his name. Oh, I've got it written down here. It's blah, blah. So take notes. It's good. And these are good for taking notes. So for some odd reason, I don't know why, but I thought these were going to be effectively like actual playbooks for the different playbooks, and they're not. So that threw me off a little bit. But then I went back and looked and like, oh no, this is exactly what they're supposed to be. So they're really nice. And then the final thing. Let me see if I've got it right side up. I think I do. Yeah, I do. So this is a cloth playmat, or a cloth map actually, of the world of Avatar. And I would assume the characters on the map are Chinese. See, the interesting thing about Avatar is Avatar took a lot of real life influences in everything they do. Each one of the bending styles is actually based on an actual martial art. Airbending is Baguao. Firebending is Southern Shaolin Kung Fu. Earthbending is, I think it's Hungar, which is a style of Kung Fu. And then waterbending is based on Tai Chi. And they use actual movements from those martial arts in the animation and everything. However, in addition to that, each nation is based on a different culture from around the world. The Fire Nation is based on Japanese culture, specifically the kind of imperial area of Japanese history. The Earth Kingdom is actually based on Chinese culture. And I can't remember which period in time that they based it on, but that's so. Earth Kingdom is Chinese. Fire Nation is Japanese. The Air Nomads are based on Tibetan Buddhist priests. And Buddhist monks. I'm sorry. So they're effectively Tibetan. And then the water tribes were based on the Inuit people, which some people refer to as Eskimos. They don't generally prefer that term, but basically tribes that lived in the northernmost parts of North America. So Native Americans from northern North America, Alaska, northern parts of Canada, things like that. That's where those. And so the reason that I'm not 100% certain about the kanji or I'm not even sure if it's kanji, the symbols on this is it's possible they could be Chinese. It's possible they could be Japanese. I don't read either language, so I haven't the foggiest idea which is which. I used to be able to tell, like I can tell the difference between Korean and in Japanese and Chinese, because Korean uses a very different alphabet, and the way that my brain remembers it is for whatever reason, Korean Korean lettering just looks more round to me. I don't know why, but that's how my brain interprets it, and that's how I can identify Korean text. I can't read any of it. I used to be able to. I used to be able to speak some Korean, and by I could speak some Korean, I took Taekwondo for 2 years, and we were instructed every so often. We would be instructed in Korean. Um, None of us were native Korean speakers, so I have no idea if my pronunciation is anywhere near close. But I used to be able to count up to like I think at one point I could count to 100. Now I think I can only get up to maybe 20. So I remember because we used to do punching combinations, and then we go hana tool set net tasu yusu is ilka yedel as aho Yul, Johanna, Yutul, Yuset, Yunet, Yudasu, Yusu, Yilgup, Yidel, Yaho, and then Sarul. And that's all I remember. And then I remember Punch was Chiligi. So what they would do is they would give us a punch and kick combination in Korean, and we were taught what all the words meant, but because it's a Korean martial art, they felt it was necessary for us to actually learn the Korean parts of the martial art. And so, yeah, if I remember correctly, Chiligi was punch. And I can't. There used to be low, high. I used to know low, high, and middle because those were all unique punches we do in blocks. I still remember all this. It's still, like, I still have muscle memory for all the blocks and kicks and stuff like that, which is good. Despite the fact that I can't really practice anymore because my panic disorder doesn't like me to ever do anything physical. The muscle memory is still there. Like I will still block the exact same way I'm supposed to. I'll still do my knife hands and spear hands. And one of my favorites, because I never knew if this was ever actually a useful attack, but there was an attack we learned, which isn't technically pure Taekwondo. Like if you learn pure Taekwondo, it is, I believe it's almost exclusively kicks. And the idea behind that is your legs are your most powerful weapons when you're fighting. And so actual, like, full-on traditional Taekwondo is almost exclusively kicks. And Taekwondo kicks hurt like a bitch. They, because it's such a leg-focused martial art, they are really, really strong. And one of the ones that I've seen people get hit by this particular one, but one of the kicks you learn relatively early on is we call it a back kick. It is not a kick that is 100% unique to Taekwondo. However, the way that you do it in Taekwondo is a little bit different, and it's one of the reasons it makes it so deadly. So the back kick, sometimes called like a horse kick in like Kung Fu or karate, but it's a piston kick where you turn your back to your opponent, or your opponent may be at your back already, and then you kick behind you like a horse kicking. But the way that it's taught in practice in Taekwondo is you actually you spin to get the kick to work, because your opponent has to be at your back for it to work. And so there's a spinning aspect to it, and the torque from spinning and throwing the kick really well, and the fact that you hit with your heel, means that you're using almost every muscle in your body for this kick because of the spin and everything. You're using all your core. You actually can put your arms into it as well to get some of your upper body strength. And then obviously you're using your legs and your hips and everything. And it all goes into this very small part of your, basically right here on your foot, your heel. And as it impacts, it hits hard. because it's a piston kick. So unlike roundhouse kicks, where the force itself is basically traveling along the entirety of your leg, but some of the force is directed out into nothingness. Because yes, you'll hit with the front of it, but there's still force that's coming this way that's not being directed in here. With a piston kick, all of the force is in one direction, in one place. And so it's devastating. And I watched, we were sparring, and one of the guys forgot to wear his protector for a certain region that men in general don't really enjoy being kicked in. And my sister was sparring with this kid, and she had never like, one of the hard things about throwing the back kick is you need to have pretty decent flexibility to get the kick high enough to hit where you want, which is generally you want to back kick someone right in the sternum, because it'll crack your sternum, it'll destroy internal organs. It's a really deadly kick. So that's where you want to aim. Also, center of mass is generally a great place to aim, because if they move, you're still going to hit something. She never got her back kick up quite high enough, and getting a back kick to the gut hurts real bad. She didn't get it that high, and so she did this back kick beautifully. Like, other than the fact that it was too low, it was a beautifully executed back kick, and it connected right where it shouldn't. And we watched this kid just collapse on the ground. And all the guys are just sitting there going, ooh! And the instructor comes over and he's like, hey, are you okay? And I can hear it clearly, him trying to kind of fight through the pain, and my sister's apologizing and really, really upset about it. And obviously he's upset. But he's going, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yes, sir! And I can still hear it in my head of him trying to get out of this. It's like, okay, you guys sit down. You're done sparring for the night. Anyway, so I have, if anyone actually does know any language that is displayed here, let me know which language this is. Like I said, I think it's possible, because some of these, some of the symbols look familiar to me. But yeah, I could not. The only thing I can tell you is I will guarantee none of these are Korean, because I can generally recognize. I can't read it. I can generally recognize Korean. So anyway, that is the physical stuff for my Avatar Legends, the roleplay game. I'm super excited about it. I think, again, I just finished running Power Rangers, and I'm sad that I can't continue running that because it was super, super fun. I in no way have the time nor the mental fortitude to run an Avatar Legends campaign, but oh boy, do I want to right now. It's a great system. The Powered by the Apocalypse system is great. There's a bunch. If I remember correctly, the base form of Powered by the Apocalypse is either open source or Creative Commons. Just so we don't talk about a subject that everyone is freaking out about now. I'm not going to refer to the other thing that it mimics, but it effectively means that you can create your own games using the basis, the playbook system effectively, and the resolution system built into Powered by the Apocalypse. And that's where Avatar Legends comes from. Is it uses the bones of Powered by the Apocalypse, but it makes it its own, and it's brilliant. And the unique thing about a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse, because I think I have like 3 or 4 different Apocalypse-based systems, and each one of them has their own flair and own meaning. Where, like, if you play, to use an old example, if you played D&D 3.5 and then switched over to Pathfinder, and then switched over to the old the D20 system Star Wars game that Knights of the Old Republic used. Because for those of you who don't know, the video game Knights of the Old Republic used the rules of a Star Wars tabletop game that was developed by Wizards of the Coast. And it was a officially licensed Star Wars RPG that effectively used D&D 3.0. So if you go between those systems, they all feel almost identical. Again, Pathfinder and D&D are effectively identical, but Star Wars is a very, very different system, and yet the feats, like, they use the same feats and stuff. So the D20 system, while you can have some changes in it, the D20 system itself, everything kind of felt homogenized, and that was a good thing. It meant that you could jump from system to system and feel like you knew what you were doing. But Powered by the Apocalypse, the thing I've been most impressed about is each game, while it does use, like, you have to choose your playbook and that, like, the fighting styles in Avatar are completely unique to Avatar. I haven't seen that in another Powered by the Apocalypse game, which again may just be me. It may be that I just haven't seen the one that they took that inspiration from, but I really, really like that, and so yeah, I'm absolutely super, super thrilled with these books, and I can't wait for the day that I get to play this again. I might try and convince somebody to do a one-shotter, like a short mini campaign or something where we get to play Avatar, where I can actually play an Avatar character, because that would be super fun, and especially with Realms of the Wild getting to the point where it's the first campaign is about done. They've gotten to the final area. They're about to meet the big baddie of the whole campaign, and then they get to figure out how they want to deal with that. So that is coming to an end, and then before season 2, we're going to have effectively kind of a hiatus, where instead of playing Realms of the Wild, people are going to just be running whatever one-shots or maybe playing video games, or we're going to have a little bit of time in between for me to prep for the new Cookie campaign, to get out marketing materials and stuff like that, and do cool stuff. So yeah, maybe I'll find a way to convince someone to run the game. But anyway, that's going to be all for me today. As always, remember to like, subscribe, turn notifications on, hit the bell icon to turn notifications on, and in the comments below, have you seen my in-depth review of Avatar Legends, and did you either back when you could, or are you planning on picking it up as soon as it is available? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, again, that's all for me today. I'll see you guys in the next time. All right, bye-bye.